You just tuned in to the baddest podcast in the universe. If you don't know, now you know.
I am Rashan Ali. Rashan Ali. I am Rashan Ali.
Who is Rashan Ali? Rashan Ali is everybody's homegirl. She is one of the coolest people you'll ever meet. Wife, mother, daughter, sister, friend.
She from the ATLANTA, reps on 6 folks from Cascade. Learned how to skate when she was in first grade. Went to Clark, ain't graduate. Moved up out of Buckhead to escape the city. Breakfast at Bonnie, she's so ratchet, yeah, she's so sedated. Shawty's an A-town girl, got her own money, but she never paid to get inside. No lie, love me a A-town girl.
So we're here today with this wonderful lady right here, Rashan Ali. What's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I am well.
Good.
It's been a while.
It's been a few years.
A few years.
Probably more than a few, but we're here.
Married, children.
All the things.
All of those things.
Yeah, life
You've
things.
come a long way, haven't you?
Yeah.
Your
and you as
talent-
well.
Yes, thank you. Your talent is just like all these many different things.
Yeah.
As a developer, as you know, where you met me from, being I think triple threat is, you're past that. Like you do so many different things.
I do.
And I tell people when I would rehearse them or whatever, it's a weird place to be that talented, because you don't know what you want to do on a given day.
Oh man.
How did you come up with this idea to start in entertainment?
Wow. I think that I've just always been the kid that everybody knew was going to be on television. I knew by the time I was 3 years old, I was like, how can I be on the camera with a microphone? And what do I need to do to get there? And so it came through so many different avenues, from being, a dancer, jazz tap ballet when I was younger, and also a swimmer, being an athlete, playing softball, playing basketball, just always doing something. I was one of those kids that just did everything. And I credit my parents for just exposing me to so much, especially in the world of sport. Because, back then, I don't think, my parents really knew how to really cultivate that entertainment side of me, or that artistic side of me, because back then there weren't a lot of resources, especially here in Decatur, Georgia, in the 80s, the late 70s and early 80s. I remember my dad told me, he was like, I wrote a letter to Bill Cosby because I wanted you to be on the Cosby Show because I thought you were talented. And so I always took it upon myself, like every time I went to the grocery store, every time I went out, like I wanted to look a certain way, because I don't know who was out there.
Right.
And that was back then, it was like how you got discovered. There were no, let me take my daughter to this talent agency to see if I can get her signed. My parents didn't know that type of thing. Even though they're well educated, they just weren't educated in that particular, that life. When it comes to entertainment. So I've just always known that I was going to be doing something in front of the camera. And I think that's where it came from, where not really knowing particularly what it was, but being able to do a lot in front of the camera, no matter what it was. Yeah.
So, as many know, one of your beginnings was being an assistant for Left Eye, the great Lisa Left Eye Lopez of TLC.
Yeah.
How did you decide to do that, knowing that you also could be in front of the camera doing these things?
So that was, I was working at Fox Sports South as a production assistant for a show called Countdown to Signing Day. And so we were responsible for really tapping those high school players that actually had a potential to play on the college level. And so I had different states where we had the players that were going to be signed. And just one day, one of my friends who I grew up swimming with, I was a competitive swimmer growing up, she was working at an insurance company. And I guess her boss was talking to Ida Harris from Left Eye Productions. And they were talking, I guess he was the person that insured Left Eye Productions. Hey, and Ida said, Lisa needs a new assistant. Do you know anybody that would like to be her assistant?
Wow.
So the gentleman who was the company president, and my friend was working for him, he calls out to her, hey, do you know anybody that wants to be in the entertainment industry that would be Left Eye's assistant? She's like, yeah, my friend Rashan. She's into that type of life.
Wow.
And so literally I'm graduated from college. I'm back home with my parents. The man calls my house. This is before like a lot of people had cell phones.
Right.
They leave a message with my dad. My dad leaves a written note on my bed because I'm still in my same room that I, had come back home to. Hey, Ida Harris from Left Eye Productions called. Left Eye needs a new assistant. So I looked at the paper. I was like, she burned down people's houses. I ain't doing that. Literally, that's what I said.
Right.
Because that was like,
So obviously this was after.
Yeah, this was like 4 years removed from the whole Andre Rison thing. And I was like, I ain't doing that. I'm 22 years old, fresh out of college. But then something in me was like, man, just call. I called. Ida loved our conversation. She was like, why don't you go meet Lisa? Drove to Lisa's house.
Wow.
When she
That
lived in
quick,
Stone
huh?
Mountain. Yeah, like maybe the next couple of days.
Wow.
We talked, and I literally was her assistant within like 4 or 5 days of that first initial message that I got from my friend who worked at the insurance company. And so, but Lisa was such an incredible woman. She told me, I remember where we were sitting in her house downstairs in her basement, and she said, Rashan, you are such a superstar. You just got to figure out what you want to do. Literally, she said to a 22-year-old me, you're a superstar. I still didn't know what that looked like, but when a star like Lisa, and everybody who has ever been in her presence knows how much of a superstar she was, way beyond her years, which you and I both know, way beyond her years. And for someone to say that to me at that age, I never took that for granted, and I always held it close to me. Right. Always. And I'm like, her and my auntie and my daddy, they knew that something was special.
There's so much that I have in my mind that I want to talk to you about. But when I think of Lisa and I think of you, when I first came in front of you and met you, I kind of knew the same thing.
Wow.
But at the same time, I knew that when I found out you was a former, because at the time when I met you, you had moved on to LaFace Records. Your personality, you're always kind of like the same, straightforward. Whatever you said is what you meant. It was no like, well, what did she mean? It doesn't surprise me that you guys connected so quickly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, the reason why I asked that question, with all of this talent that you had, you never was like, I need to do something more like in front of the camera when you actually was working as an assistant to her?
Oh, yeah. No.
What was that like getting up in the morning? Never in...
No, because I knew that it wasn't time then.
Okay.
That wasn't time. I'm young, I'm fresh out of college. I'm seeing the world from a different lens at this time. I'm a middle-class girl, 2-parent home, so I'm literally like, one of the Huxtable kids, like looking at this entertainment world and learning how to be someone's assistant. I needed an assistant. I didn't even know how to follow up and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm somebody's assistant, having to wake them up and do all these things. So I'm like, I don't even know how to do all of this.
Right.
But it taught me, like, when you're somebody's assistant, you're responsible for their livelihood, like, and all of that. But Lisa literally showed me, like, I never had, even though I grew up as a middle-class kid, I had never really been in a limousine. I had never flown first class. I had never, like, been really, my first time being at a high-end restaurant, like Red Lobster on Keller Road was like our high-end, you know what I mean?
Right.
My parents cooked at the house, and it wasn't not to my parents, but that wasn't our thing.
Right.
So I'm literally at crustaceans in LA with Lisa and like in these really nice restaurants in New York and like drinking wine for the first time. And I'm like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like really, she really showed me a lot of different things in a short amount of time. But I also saw things from a different vantage point. I saw people using Lisa. I saw people latching onto her and leeching. And one of the things she told me is a couple of things she told me. She said, Rashan, I really do love and respect you because you're one of the only people around me that doesn't want anything from me. I'm 22. I'm 22 years old.
Where does that come from? Where does that, because I felt that too. I felt genuine when me and Divine walked inside, you greeted us. It was just like, just straight, I'm cool, you're cool, what's up, what y'all need?
Right.
Where does that come from, where you're just genuine and you're not looking for anything other than why you're there?
Well, I think that the way I was raised. I mean, my dad is a legendary high school football coach. He's retired now. He's 80 years old. He's still with us.
They got a stadium
named after him. So I've always been around, and we were always around professional football players, professional coaches, and so Eddie Robinson, who was known as the winningest high school football coach in college football history from Grambling State University, like he stayed at our home.
Wow.
You know, and I fed him breakfast in the morning. Right. So he stayed at our home, and I fed him breakfast in the morning. So my parents like really exposed me to those types of things early on, but it was in the sports realm. So I never looked at anybody like they were greater than who I was, because I had already been exposed to that type of life. So I didn't look. I'm just trying to be out here and literally gain. I didn't even know that I was gaining all the knowledge and all the experience starting then, but just God had me in that position. But seeing the way Lisa had to navigate her life, I made a promise to God. I remember exactly where I was. I was in a Walmart, literally near Lisa's house. And I said, God, when you give me the platform, whatever the platform is, I want to treat it like you have ordained for this particular thing to be treated. Because I know that when people get these, when they're able to become these stars and celebrities, a lot of people can't handle it.
They can't.
And a lot of people treat it like, oh, I'm better than anybody. Right. I treat the janitor and the CEO the same, because that's what my mama did.
Right.
My mama was one of the only black executives at Emory Hospital. She ran the social work department, you know, and she talked about like how the janitors were
social worker.
Yes.
So she's dealing with the real
all
issues
kind
of
of
what's
stuff.
going on.
And she's one of the only black executives at Emory Hospital in the 80s.
Wow.
When you can still smoke
Pause.
cigarettes inside the office, because my
That's a
mom's a
pause.
cigarette smoker. So, like,
Right.
but she told me about like a situation where, you know, something was going on in the office, and there were two white people who were in the elevator with a janitor who my mom had befriended because she treated everybody the same. And they were talking about what they were going to do to my mother when they got into this meeting. But because they didn't think that this man had any value, sitting in the back of the elevator, because he was a black janitor, but because my mom treated him with dignity, everything that those two white people said that they were going to do in that meeting, that man who was invisible to them went right to my mom's office and said, Miss Godfrey, you need to know that this is about to happen, this is about to happen, this is about to happen, and this is about to happen. So when she went into that meeting, she was prepared because she treated everybody the same. And so from that is why I don't care who, PA, EP, you're going to get the same Rashan. Wherever I go, and you can ask anybody that has ever interacted with me.
I will tell you, I will tell you when, and I'm kind of going really quick to something, when you got on the radio and you lived in Cobb, I lived in Cobb, and we saw each other, and you was this girl on radio now. Like, you had access, and it wasn't access through someone else. It was your own access. You was still the same person.
Yeah, I don't know how to be anybody
still the
else.
same person.
And I made that promise to God when I was left as assistant, that I would remain the same, because that is, God giveth and God taketh away. I'm trying to keep it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't want anything to be taken away due to bad behavior or misconduct of the gift.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, I brought something with me today to show you. I don't know if you have it. You may have it. I'm kind of like DJ Nabs. I keep a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show it to you.
Uh-oh. What you got?
It was when we first worked together. I don't even know if did you put that together? Your names?
That's crazy.
Your name's in it. My name's in it.
2000.
This is the pink
the pink.
Most Girls video shoot out in L.A.
Wow,
So
look
probably
at
2
this.
days from that date or 4 days from that date is when I met you in 2000.
That's crazy. This is when like
Polana's name's in there.
Polana's in here. That's crazy.
Were you the one that put that together?
I don't know if I put this together, but I'm.
What does it say? You was.
Am I in this?
Yeah, you are in the very beginning part.
Let me see.
Go to the beginning.
Okay, keep that.
Isn't that something?
Look, Dave Myers, that's my guy right there. Everybody got pager numbers in here. That is hilarious.
Pagers.
Wow, I don't know if I put this together, because this might have been the this might have been Billy B. Wow.
Well, this is a testament of your work, though.
Yeah. This is crazy. I can't believe you held on to this.
Let me say this in this camera. Rashan Ali is very easy to work with. She is not hard to work with.
At all.
It's a joy. And like how she's coming off on the camera right now. This is her right here.
That's all I know how to
just
be.
Normal. From whatever television show she's on to whatever movie, whatever radio,
Wow.
whatever. This is who you are. And I said today, when I was preparing to come, maybe an hour before, I said, you know what, I'm gonna bring that.
That's amazing.
And I would love we can make a copy so you can have it if you don't have it. Because that is who you are, part of who you are.
Right. It's crazy because I just, Pink celebrated an anniversary with her husband, and I commented on her post, and she was talking about marriage, and she, Pink is such an incredible writer, so
Right.
she talked about just marriage and just like the ups and downs and all the things, but her description was so incredible, so I was like, if this is not the best description of marriage, I don't know who it is, and I was like, from your former LaFace production assistant, Rashan. And then she replied to me. She was like, oh, hey, how you doing? I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet, yeah.
All the way.
That's amazing that you have that.
Yeah, I keep a lot of stuff
Yeah.
from my former years back in Boston, and then coming down here and doing what I do. I kind of just try to keep stuff.
Yeah.
I think I keep it. I don't know why I keep it.
For moments like this, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who you are. That's who you are.
Try to remember.
And I understand it comes from mom and it comes from dad.
Yeah.
Is this what you're doing with your daughters, along with your husband?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that my daughters get it can be just something random, like a beautiful black woman on television. I'm like, oh my God, isn't she gorgeous? She is. Look at her. And then if I see a woman, like if we go into school in the morning, I see a woman exercise, like, you better get it, girl. And they make fun of me. Oh, there go mama. She gonna be bigging up anybody she see. But guess what? That's an example, because I hear them say, oh my God, she's so pretty. Oh my God, look at her. It's the example because they see me celebrating women all the time.
That's your thing.
Yes, I want everybody to win. But guess because there's room for everybody to win. I am in the winning business, and I want people to win along.
Could it be that you are similar to your dad as a coach?
Oh yeah, for sure, totally. I'm totally like that because of his example and being able to influence people and being able to not only be an example but be who you are and still be the example. Sometimes when people are example, like I have to be this. No, I'm grimy. I'm still I'm professional, but I'm still from Decatur, Georgia, right down the street, Columbia Drive.
You know how to party, you know how to dance,
I know how to do
you know how
all
to
of
have
that.
fun,
but
you also know how to.
Yeah, and I know how to speak life into people.
Right.
That is one of my gifts.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
My question, deeper question, is where do you think this coach in you is going? Where do you think you're going with this, and why do you think you're going with this personality?
So I do media coaching too for actors, artists, and athletes. So that's part of my gift, to be able to get them to be as sharp as they can when having interviews like this on shows and radio, and try to whip them into shape. So I know that's a lane for me as well. But I don't even know. Like I'm in a space in my life where I know that I have been excellent, but I'm ready to be genius. Mm-hmm. There's another level. And I know with high achievers, people might look at my life and say, oh my God, she has it all together and everything's fine. there's another level. There's another level that I'm trying to aspire to be. And so maybe that is more of the coaching. I don't know what it is. I want, when it's over, when it's time for me to go on to glory, I want to be as empty as possible, having done everything that has been placed on my heart. And that's what I encourage people to do. If God placed it on your heart, whoever you serve, place it on your heart, how dare you not try? You got to at least try. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I want to do. And people look at my resume like she's done everything. Well, because God said I could. And I'm going to try it. And some things work, some things don't. But I'm going to give my 100% effort every single time. So I don't know where their coaching is going. I think my media company is part of it. But it could be something completely different.
You know, I've watched you in an interview on your own podcast with the former producer of Sister Talk.
Sister Circle, yeah.
Sister Circle, excuse me. And you said something that kind of made me want to ask this question.
Yeah.
What makes you feel that your parenting isn't up to par when I see you from I remember when you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Right? I see you with your children, right? Where does this come from? Is it that you want to be more than where you are with it? Because I view you as an amazing woman.
Yeah, I think it's
that takes care of their children.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
I mean, I think that we just all have, well, I'll just speak for myself because I can't speak for everyone else. But like, of course you have some insecurities, you have some doubts. I think that where it comes from is like because I had a girl serving organization for so long that I poured so much into other people's children, and then you see how much you've done for other people's children, and you see how they've come out of it and how they've been blessed by what you've been able to do, along with my incredible team, what we've been able to do. And then sometimes I'm like, damn, did I do the same for my own? Did I pour enough? And it's not over. They're 17 and 14, but did I do enough for them that I've done for other people? So that other people's children. So that is where the guilt and the insecurity comes in. And I think that, you know, it's just tough. Because then you're like, well, is she this? Is she that? Did I do enough of this? Did I do enough of that? And then I remember, like yesterday, I was like, when in my prayer, in my meditation, God, source was saying like, yo, just let them be who they are. Like,
okay,
you're good.
So you're not the helicopter mom.
Oh, I'm not a helicopter mom
Right.
at all. I'm not one of those people that's going to be hovering over my children. I don't do that.
Right.
But kudos to the moms that's what they do.
Right.
But there's different types of moms.
Right.
I'm not that person.
Right.
I'm not.
Right. I got that.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday who was like, you don't go shopping with it. I said, they go shopping with their Auntie Dina. Auntie Dina loves to go shopping with the girls. I'm going to be the mom that's going to get us good tickets to the Hawks game. We're going to be in the suite at the Drake concert. I'm going to get the auntie and mama going to get those tickets because these are the connections I have. This is my gift to the family. I ain't going shopping. I ain't baking no cookies. I'm not doing that, but this is who I am. And then I have to still be okay with who I am as their mother. And my prayer always is every morning when I meditate, God, let me be the mother who they need for me to be and not anybody else.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know, I think part of it could be that you're not seeing that you are your mom and that you are your father. Meaning they were busy people too, but you learned so much from them.
Yeah, I did.
You learned this is them right here.
Right.
Like the person that's talking sports, you. The person that's on the radio, you. The person that's on an ensemble television show, you. All of these things, they're watching. They're sitting back watching and learning.
Right.
The same thing you did with your dad and your mom.
Right.
So I'm like, bam, like you're doing it.
Yeah.
And it's not that you have to be in the room at the same time.
Yeah.
It's that you're this woman, black woman, that understands community better than so many people. So many people don't understand community. They get to a certain level and they just cut off community. Why haven't you cut off community?
Well, I know it's not about me. I know it's bigger than me. I know my life has less to do with me and more to do with other people witnessing how I move. And I say that because there's a young woman who I will never meet in this lifetime, or maybe someone that I will meet in this lifetime, that sees how I react, how I entertain certain things, and how I respond to certain things. And they use that as an example for how they will show up in their lives. I've heard it from several people. I've been told by so many people. And so that's just kind of how I try to show up. So it is interesting that you say, like, before I even came here today, like my 14-year-old, she was like, okay, your outfit is giving. Let's take some pictures. And we're in the mirror. And she's 14 and she's in the 8th grade, And I'm like, how many 14-year-olds are taking pictures with their mom and she putting it on TikTok? Not a lot.
No, not a lot.
So I'm like, and my husband's a high school teacher.
Right.
So when I have my doubts, when I have my moments of like, am I doing enough, baby? Are we okay? Are we all right? He's like, babe, I'm with these young girls every day. We good.
Yeah, you good.
And he reassures me because he sees it all. He's like 5 years from retirement high school teacher. So he's seen everything. He's seen everything. So the fact that our girls actually like to hang out with us, like we actually sit down and have dinner, and like we do TikToks, or we just have a conversation and we go out to dinner. Like he's like, this ain't what I'm dealing with when I go to work, baby. So
but I love this
Yeah.
about you, that you're willing to go on camera and say,
Yeah.
I could be a better person.
Absolutely.
But you are doing it.
Thank
now,
you.
let me ask you this question.
Uh-oh.
You met a very amazing woman who happens to be the Vice President of the United States. What was that like?
Oh, yeah, that was my second time meeting
Okay.
Vice President
What was that
Kamala
like?
Harris, but this was more personal. It was incredible. Well, not only is she my sorority sister as well. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
So
am I.
not a selfish plug, but I mean.
But
like,
I mean, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
That was incredible, just the fact that, and people will talk politics all day and they will say what she is and what she isn't doing and across the board. People are going to say that. But the fact that you have a black woman that is literally the vice president of these United States of America.
During 2020.
Yeah, 2020, and we're ragged, we're up for re-election.
Well, all of this stuff going on.
There's a black woman there, like who's
what
hair
was that?
texture is like
I'm
mine.
trying to find out what was that like. I mean, it's your second time.
Yeah, but this was more
I never
personal.
had a first.
Right. I mean, she's just your everyday woman too, though. In the same breath. Of course,
Similar to who you are.
Yeah, you got Secret Service, you got all these people around you and all that, but she's still for the people. To me, she's still for the people. She wants to make sure that we're getting the work done, women's rights, like all of these things. Like no matter what your political background is or your agenda, whatever it is, she's literally a person that's for the people.
People.
At the end of the day,
That's what it is.
she's for the people.
For the people.
And she's smart as a whip. She just so happens to be gorgeous, and it was just a moment. It was a sister-to-sister moment.
Well, for me, when I didn't know you met her prior, but when it came off my, over the feed, I was like, I felt like I met her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
I was like, wow,
Yeah.
like you're doing these things. But there's more in you that you really want to do on the professional side.
Yeah.
What is this thing that you really want to do? Are you willing to say what that thing
Oh, well,
is?
yeah. I mean, I think that it's a
Because you're multi-talented.
I am.
You have all of these things that you could be doing. you can do sports talk, you can do acting, you can do all of these different things. What is it deep inside you that you want to do?
Wow, that's really...
That you want to do?
So there's two things. I am in the process of finding out the answer to that question. Like the real answer to that question. Like surrendering, figuring out, because I literally wrote in my journal, like, how do you want me to serve you today, God? And this is my second podcast recording today.
Great.
So I served God, right? How can I serve others today? And show me what it is. Because I really feel like it's so much bigger than my little thoughts are. Of course, I want to eventually direct and I want to produce. I've just finished writing my first short. I just did an acting intensive over the past weekend with Terry J. Vaughn and a lot of other great artists. So I'm in the stage of pouring into myself. What if I went all the way in? Like the thing
that's what I'm trying to get
Yes.
you to tell me.
What if I went all the way in on all the things? And what will the reward be on the other end?
Well, we know communities are always going to be there.
Right, it is.
We know family's going to always be there. That's husband and children.
Right. So to answer your question, I do not know yet.
Okay. Do you remember 112 was doing their last big, I was there, you were there. Do you remember what I said? You had just got on Sister Circle. You don't remember what I said to you?
What you said?
And I wasn't, this is this bold thing inside of me as an encourager, but sometimes can be taken wrong. I was like, yo, I love what you're doing with Sister Circle, but that ain't it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I said, that ain't it. No.
Right.
But this thing is going up. This thing is going up. At that point, that's when it was going up. It didn't peak. And here I come, and you're just smiling, whatever. I don't know if you remember. I was like, that ain't it. I said, there's something deeper.
It's totally deeper.
It's totally deeper because it's from Lisa Left Eye to whoever said anything to you up at LaFace Records to wherever you've been on the football field, basketball field, court, wherever. They're telling you this thing. What is it? I think it could be a movie star. That's what I believe it is. But I don't think it's the typical movie star. I think you're a boss.
Yeah, I believe that. So I've always said that I want to, my career, if I had to, emulate someone, it would be like Oprah and Whoopi, where they come in and they smash a role, right? And they step back out and then they direct or EP or produce or do something like that. Like if I had to say, well, whose career do you look at? I look at those people when it comes to that. I want to be in the crowd when someone says, Rashan Ali, I'd like to thank you for writing this beautiful piece, for changing my life. Thank you for helping to change my life by writing this role for me or choosing me for this particular role. Like I'm ready to see someone else ascend from the other gifts that I have with my hand, with my vision, and all of that. But then at the same breath, and the next year I'm like, and the award goes to Rashan Ali, and I'm like, oh my God, Decatur, Georgia, stand up! I can't wait to say that, man. I literally can't wait to say that.
But it's all on you.
Yeah.
I think most of the people that work on this production here are multi-talented.
Yeah.
Multi-talented, from executive producers to sound engineer, all of that. Everyone is very multi-talented. If you're not multi-talented, you don't understand because you wake up on a given day and don't want to do what you did yesterday because you're bored with that for today.
Yeah.
What I'm saying and why I'm saying this is if you could do yourself a favor and figure that thing out, it is what God wants you to do because you're going to be the one to help those, because what we do in entertainment is not our job. Our job is to help people. That's what you do well.
Right.
When I did the reads and all of this stuff on you, of course I know you, but I'm like, there's only 24 hours in a day. How is this lady doing volunteership, being a mama, a wife, a daughter, and all of these things for all these people, but she has time for people?
Yeah.
That means if you figure this out, I still think it's what I said.
Yeah,
a movie
I believe
star.
that.
I think you need to, I don't know what you and your husband have to do, what y'all have to talk about. You have to figure out what that thing is, and you have to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna give service to all the right people. Because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're on this earth.
Absolutely. I believe that.
And I've always saw that in you. Always. Yes, you know how to dance and party and go to the club. And you know, when I say party, dance,
Yeah,
and
no, I know.
have fun.
Absolutely.
In life.
Because I'm definitely gonna go.
Right. So I'm saying if you could do this, it's hard though.
It is, but
It's very hard.
it is, but I believe if God gives you the vision, God will give you the
Because
provision.
you've been acting how long?
So
Literally, how long have you been acting? Your first whatever acting.
my first act role was Chocolate City with Will Packer and Rob Hardy in college.
And what year?
That was
Are you following me?
94?
Are you following me?
Dang, that looks good in that camera, baby. Get it to it or don't do it, okay? Go ahead. Yeah, that was like 94. But it was always, acting was always like, at the time, and all probably up until 2020, acting was like 4th or 5th on the list. Because I had radio, I had television, I had sideline reporting, I had sports anchoring for
Right.
CNN, I had the nonprofit.
Right.
Like, so acting came
And
like,
then you were author.
oh, yeah, author, like all of the things. So acting, when Sister Circle was over, I told my agents, because I always had acting agents, I was like, let's go full throttle. Let's see what we can do. And I got the first opportunity, season 2 of Sisters, Tyler Perry's Sisters, and then I was in the bubble with TP, Miss Perry, and then I got the opportunity to audition for All the Queen's Men, which is what I'm on now, which is in its 4th season, and my character is really growing. It's, it's very, you gotta
A little
prepare
edgy,
yourself.
a little edgy.
It's very edgy. And that
I was wondering how you get that through your
my husband. So I'll take you back. So for
Because
most,
my wife, works with me.
right.
I'd be like, I don't know what
she's
you trying.
gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you very much.
BTW.
Thank
So when I auditioned for this role, my husband was my reader. So for a lot of actors, like you have somebody in the house, especially because during the pandemic, it was self-tapes, or even prior to that, it was a lot of self-tapes. So you gotta just do the, I'm like, honey, can you read this with me? So he read the scene or whatever. He's playing a young lady, and girl, right? And my husband's very manly. So what you say, girl?
What? You
And
had
so
him doing that? Or he
I
just
had
automatic?
I had him doing it, and so
What?
it's crazy.
The
part
coaching
is,
you.
Well, no, he had to read the other person's line.
No,
I was
but
like,
he didn't have to read it that way.
Well, no, he was.
But
just
you
like,
made
okay,
sure-
girl.
you made sure-
He said it very hetero.
You made sure, like, no, baby, that ain't it. Because I
Nah.
got to get in this part, and you're going to have to do it right.
So we had I saw 2 deadlines. So I got 1 deadline from my agent and 1 deadline from Actors Access. So people who are actors know the Actors Access.
Yes.
They'll give you a different deadline. I was like, I don't know what the deadline is. So I'm just going to go with the one that's the soonest.
Right.
Because,
Smart.
I wanted to put it in. And I was like, you know what? This will be the role I get because I'm rushing and I'm just trying to get it done. Literally, like 2 weeks later, my agent called. She said, yo, you got the role. They're putting you on hold. She said, there's a caveat though. The role requires nudity. I was like, what do you mean nudity? And so,
But this is for television, though, right?
So my husband and I, I'm taking you all the way.
Okay,
Rewind
okay,
to like 5 years
okay,
ago.
okay,
We're
okay.
watching La La with Tommy Egan on Power.
Okay.
Forgot her character's name at the time, but he was like, he looked at me, he's like, babe, promise me you'll never do like a sex scene. And I was like, no, I'll never do that. I'll never do that.
Whoa.
Baby, I had to call him. I was like, oh God. My agent said, you gotta call. Like, we need to know. Like, if we put you on hold for this, that means you agree. And at the time, I didn't know that you, as an actor, you really have autonomy as to what you will show and what you don't show. I didn't know I had that at the time. So I'm calling him. I was like, babe, I got a role. Tyler Perry. Da, 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 da. And he was like, and I was like, but there is nudity involved. And he was like, well, what you mean? What you gotta show? And I was like, it's and I'm trying to like soften it.
Wow.
And so he agreed, and the rest is history. But then once I learned, like, there's intimacy coordinators, and then it's not like this whole thing that people will make it seem like.
Or what the video might be showing.
Exactly. It's very, very calculated. It's very protected. SAG is very good at making sure the actors are protected. I make sure I do not show, full breast or full bottom. It's literally side, and I cover my areolas and all of that. So there's things that you can do. My husband does not watch the show.
Because of that?
Well, I think that's a lot to watch.
That would be hard for me.
That would be hard. But also, this show has changed our lives. Okay. So you better let me go on down there to the Tyler Perry Studios, okay? You want to go on this trip?
Right.
Thank TP. All right. But no, he's very supportive, and he's seen the reaction. He's seen how, because we're in our 4th season, he's seen how, like, when we're out, and how so much has changed with people recognizing my character and really being grateful for her, because she is very wide open, and she has grown too. So, I'm
and
grateful.
then with that for yourself, you're protecting your image and your likeness as a person. Yeah. As Rashan Ali. So, I'm sure you had to think about this, because you're
absolutely.
You're this woman that other women and young girls look up to.
That part.
And you're not trying to be the girl that does one thing and says another.
And that is true, and which is why it took a while for me to embrace this character.
Okay. When you say that, do you mean like being able to actually act it out?
Yeah. Okay. Like really embrace her, because she is very promiscuous. She does some very heinous things, especially in like season 2. But she's growing now, and that's when you're on a show like that, you have to allow the writers to allow your character to grow as well. So it was very difficult at first. I did get some backlash from some some people that held me in high regard, and I've always had a very clean image when it came to my brand. So it was very difficult, but I'm so glad that I did not let anyone detract me from embracing this character, because not only did Miss Tandy, is my character's name, help Miss Tandy grow as Miss Tandy, but Miss Tandy helped Rashan grow as a person. I'm a reformed.
Miss Tandy is the actual character that you play.
Yes, and so I'm a reformed people pleaser, and always wanted to make sure everything was perfect. Having taken this role, that ain't this. And this ain't that.
So it could be preparing you for the next phase of who you are.
It grew me as a woman. Yeah. Because if you keep doing the same things, then you're going to get the same results. I talked to my therapist once everything was happening, when people were complaining, a couple people were complaining and trying to like really attack me. I talked to my therapist, and she was like, "Oh, we are winning. We are winning." She said, if they weren't talking about you, we wouldn't have this conversation. We wouldn't be winning. We are winning, and this is how we're going to attack it. So I talked to my therapist. I talked to my family and everything, and my daughters knew what was going on. My husband, and the people that meant the most to me were open and said, "This is a role. This is a character. You're not on some website where you're actually doing these acts in real life." Right. This is a role. And so I love that for me. I love that I allowed myself to be this free, because there are a lot of Miss Tandys in the world, and I get to play her.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So you said something that kind of I wanted to talk to you about. You said a therapist. One of the reasons why myself and Alfred one of the executive producers, we decided to do a show called If You Don't Know, Now You Know, is because a lot of people in our industry really hurt. Like, things have been done to them, whatever. And there's no place to really speak what just happened. As you know, in this business called entertainment, people hurt you and they act like they didn't hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like if you say something, it's not good, they don't want to deal with you, they're going to, the new term, ghost you.
Oh, I got ghosted.
Why did you decide to get someone to speak with?
So you talked about Sister Circle. Sister Circle, Sister Circle was good for me in two ways.
Okay.
It gave me the reps that I needed to be a television host, which was fantastic. I can do TV like the back of my hand now. Like, I love all of this, all of the lights. I love the cameras. I love all of this. This is what I do. But it also, that camera will really show you who you are too.
Okay.
And when you're an ensemble cast, and I had to be the host of the show, not only was I the host of the show, but I felt like I was the host of energy too. So I had to manage energy. It's a lot of women, and I had to manage energy. And I'm a Cancer, so I'm very maternal. I want everybody to be great. I want the energy to be wonderful. But I spent so much time trying to make sure everybody else was good that show depleted me. In a way that
the wonderful person that I knew when I met you, it
depleted her. Because I was trying to take care of everybody. Are you okay? Is everything all right? I mean, you just don't know. And I mean, and everybody's dealing with their own thing, but everybody comes to the set with that thing. And then I would try to fix it. You can't fix everybody, and you can't fix everything. And so I was empty. And so because I was so empty, and then I would get accused of, because I am so nice, people thought it was fake. And I'm like, why are people thinking that I'm fake?
No,
because I'm so
you're
nice.
Straightforward.
I know, but at the time, certain people thought that couldn't be. There's no way she could be this nice. There's no way she could be this good to people. There's no way.
She's playing the Hollywood.
Oh, she's playing. She's kissing butt, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, this is me. So I had to really just figure out, like, whose life am I trying to live? I need to sit on somebody's couch. It's the best thing I ever did. Shout out to my therapist, Dr. Joy. She's awesome.
So it helped not only that experience, but also in the home maybe too?
Oh.
How to move better with husband?
In the house. I mean, we've done, marriage counseling a few times. Just to make sure that, we're good, or even when we were having problems. I believe in therapy. I believe that folks need to take advantage of it if they can. I mean, you don't have to go to a psychiatrist. You can have a beautiful counselor, that can help you sort through these things. But Black folks need to be on couches or in front of a Zoom or Teams or whatever, just to talk it out to somebody, with someone who has zero judgment. Zero judgment.
A safe place.
A safe place. So,
why do you suppose in entertainment, the business of it, whether it's behind the scene people or in front of the camera, why is it that we don't want to talk about what someone said to us wrong? Like, why do you suppose, I have my own reason, but why do you suppose it's like, don't take it personal?
Right. I think people will think it's a form of weakness.
Ah.
Yeah. I must be weak because I let that little statement affect me.
Right.
But all of us are walking around here with childhood trauma, no matter how amazing your childhood was. Like, I remember one thing my mom said to me when I was 9. She hates when I talk about this in public, but when I was 9, that affected me. That the first thing I said on the couch when I was 45, 46 years old, first thing, I know I look great, thanks. 45, 46 years old on the couch. And then it took me back to why I'm such an overachiever, because of something that my mom said to me when I was 9 years old after at a swim meet.
Wow.
So although I had an amazing childhood, my parents were incredible, are incredible. those things, those little things. And I know that I've probably said some things to my daughters they're gonna end up on a couch too. Ain't nobody perfect.
Nobody, none of us, no.
Nobody's perfect out here.
No.
So we're all just walking around like dealing with certain things. So then you fast forward to adulthood, and then we're in this music industry. People say things, people do things, and then you're like, if I say something, I'm gonna look weak, or I'm gonna look like I can't handle nothing, or okay, it's a lot of bullying that goes on. Bullying wasn't a thing back in our day. You just dealt with it and you kept going.
Oh, right.
So I think people think it's a sign of weakness, especially if a man. Think about a man. Like, I'm gonna sit down on this couch because such and such, he was an exec back in the day and he told me da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But you don't know, you walking around with that trauma.
With that whole
You
thing.
25 years old, a higher exec telling you something or doing something to you at this type of age, and you carrying that thing with you for the rest of your life, and it affects you and it affects how you move with other people. And you've never dealt with it. Because in your mind, that's weak. That's why people don't go to couch. They don't sit on couches. That's why the people don't talk about it. They carry it, and then it plays out in other areas.
So it brings me back to what I would call a beginning for you, Lisa. You know, when the girls were dealing with whatever they was dealing with, she was a very outspoken person.
Yeah.
And I can remember when I was around, she was kind of in rehearsals off in her own area, in her own space. But when I came to Atlanta, I didn't see her like that. I literally was like, this girl's brilliant.
Totally brilliant.
She's like brilliant, and she's seeing stuff before everybody else is
saw
seeing
it.
And they don't, I don't know if I would have been able to be in a band like TLC knowing what I know.
Yeah.
Or knowing what she knew. Like, I know these people are doing what they're doing, and she was doing this before the sit down on the couch, and she was doing that. Do you think some of that also helped you?
Oh, seeing her be
no, this is not right. Who they think they're playing? I don't care who they are. I don't care what executive they are. I don't care who they are. But no, you wrong.
Yeah. I think.
Is that some of what you're?
I believe so. Being able to see it firsthand in my early 20s, like, I mean, I heard like some stuff, like, and it wasn't just with the executives. It was, people know that, the relationship amongst the young ladies, especially in the latter part of their career, was tumultuous, like, because she had a vision for the group that the others didn't see. And she was very forward thinking with animation and dolls and all these things that people are doing now. That
what was it, Supernova or something?
Like she had the
she had a website before she passed, and she had this alter ego. It was a video.
Oh yeah, Supernova. That's right.
Supernova.
Yeah.
She was. This is what you're talking about. This was what, 2002 when she passed.
Yeah. So prior to that, so imagine taking all of these grandiose ideas. Mind you, let's tell the people that she wrote the treatment for Waterfalls. She wrote that treatment, wrote it out, and then gave it to Hype, who then was able to put it into
translate it into
video. She wrote the when they were on the boat, and then when you should have them looking like their water figure, like she did that. Like that was her vision. Wow. That whole video was her vision. People don't know that.
I didn't know that.
She wrote the treatment.
I did not know that.
It was an $800,000 video.
That's dope.
Ended up being upwards of $1 million for 4 minutes of excellence.
But it was a game changer.
Yeah, it was. She wrote that.
So, I guess let me just go really to it. I think for me, knowing bits and pieces of you, bits and pieces of Lisa, I think you being around her is part of where you're going. Like, to be a woman and to be a black woman in a business and not be willing to take the craziness and the talking crazy and the people pulling up on you because you're pretty, I myself never saw anyone disrespect Lisa.
No.
I'm saying I've never seen it.
Right.
I saw people just respecting her. I'm saying that wherever you're going, you have to now translate that, because one of my wife's friends said, someone might think you're bossy, but it's not that. You're a boss. When you're a boss in this world and you happen to be a woman and a black woman, you got to have this no nonsense, I got to get this done. And I don't know what movie you're going to do, but whatever you all decide to do, you're going to be running it, and you just got to get it done.
Yeah.
Like, it's not so much tough skin to me, it's just doing you. Just doing you, because they're gonna, if you're a president of these United States and you're a Republican, people don't like you. If you're a president and you happen to be a Democratic president, people don't like you.
Absolutely.
It don't matter.
People ain't gonna like it.
They ain't gonna like you.
Right.
Until you're able to do something in their area, their sphere, and then they're like, yo, she dope. But that's not what we're here for.
Right.
We're here for a call to utilize our talent, so our talent gets us in that door, in that room, so that we can move it around with community.
Yeah.
So Coach Godfrey is in the room.
Yeah.
And what's your mom's name? I know it's Miss Godfrey.
Joyce, yeah.
Joyce
Yeah.
is in that room without her and him being in that room. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you gotta, I don't know what it is, Rashan. I see this in you.
Yeah.
I see it.
I do too. I do.
And I think people will be on the team. I don't think you'll have problems getting this done, because it's on you. It's been on you. It's now time for you to activate it.
Yeah. I'm receiving all of that. I'm receiving all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel that too.
Yeah,
I really do.
yeah.
I know it's big. Whatever it is, it's really bigger than I could ever fathom.
Because you do it like this.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff, the sports, the radio, the television, the working with young people, working with people you don't know and their kids, and the way they don't want you talking to their kids, but you're able to bring it all together. Like, that is the producer.
Yeah.
That is the executive producer. And you can't worry about that. So I want to see within the next 18 months something from you.
Listen, okay, listen, I love it. You better put me on a deadline.
Yeah, 18 months, man.
I believe you. But I feel it, though. The thing is, I feel it.
It's your time.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's your time, and bring all of these people in that room with you. Your mom, your dad, Lisa, anybody that got into you.
Lisa bought me, when she was doing The Cut back in the day, she hosted that. So my first stint in LA, I was staying with her, and then she would come back to Atlanta and she would let me stay in the apartment that they got her. And I'm around here kicking it. I got a rental car, I'm hanging out. But then when she came back one time, we went shopping on Melrose, and she bought me this skirt that had like, she was into animation and stuff. It had like these cartoon characters on it. And this was probably 98.
Wow.
I never gave that skirt away. It's still hanging up in my closet. No matter where I've lived, I've had, I got married. She died right before I got married. I got married in 2002. I still have it. It's hanging up in my closet to this day. It's one of those things that I will never get rid of.
Wow.
So it's literally my connection to her in
I
just
understand.
material form.
Right.
But she, I just feel that she and I will always have some type of connection.
It's there.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful that I went to her house that day to interview with her, and
To be an assistant.
yeah, and she was proud of me. I knew that for sure. So I'm grateful. And then she brought us together.
Yes.
How about that?
Ain't that something?
How about that?
Well, Rashan, it's a pleasure having you.
Yes. I don't want to go. We got to go. It's time. Okay.
And guess what? I really appreciate you saying yes, because you didn't know I can interview. You didn't know
Yeah, you
any
did a
of
great
that,
job.
But I
So
really appreciate you saying yes.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to.
Right.
But that's who you are.
Yeah.
That is who
I appreciate you
are.
and your team, my Sarah, staying on top of me,
Yeah.
getting it together.
And thank you.
Yeah.
We switched around the schedule. and
Thank you. I
everything,
appreciate
but we
y'all.
got it done.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm proud of you.
Love you, sis.
Yeah, love you too.
All right, say hello to the fam.
I will.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is, if you don't know, now you know. Rashan Ali, you better be watching out for her, because she is a superstar. I'm talking about super to the star. We'll talk to you soon.